Hey everybody, and welcome to or back to my channel, My Kind of Stuff. And today I want to talk about all of the new releases coming out in August that I am super excited for. All right, so starting out on August 5th, there are three books coming out that I am really excited for. The first one is The Fallen and the Kiss of Dusk by Carissa Broadbent. This is book 2 in the Shadowborn duet, or book, well, I don't know. Technically, like the sixth book in the Crowns of Nyaxia world, but I think it only counts as book 4 because 2 were novellas. Well, one was a novella, one was in a different series, but still part of the world. I don't know. Honestly, it's a little convoluted and confusing. However, I've loved every single one of the books, so I am excited to check this one out. So in this one, we are following Asar and Mishi. Basically, in the previous book, some stuff went down, and she had to make this sacrifice in order to save some people she loves. Um, and now she's kind of imprisoned, and she is able to get a path to redemption if they go and take down the god of death and seize his power. So I think this is going to be really fun. The last book did a really good job with like all this creepy, shadowy imagery. So I'm really excited to check this one out as well. And I will hopefully be getting to it like day one. This is probably the one I am most excited for. The next book, though, that I want to talk about is The Locked Ward by Sarah Pekkanen. I have previously read from this author and enjoyed the book, so I am excited to check this one out too. This one is a psychological thriller, and we are following Georgia, who is accused of killing the biological daughter of her adopted family. They adopted her as a newborn. She is then locked up in a psychiatric institution where her estranged twin sister comes to visit her, and the only words that she utters are, "I didn't do it. You've got to get me out of here." So this one kind of sounds like a spiral into madness, sort of. I love a unreliable narrator in a story, so I'm really excited to get to this one. The next book coming out on August 5th that I am really excited to check out is The Dead Husband's Cookbook by Danielle Valentine. In this one, we are following Maria, who is a celebrity chef. She has like sauces in the supermarket. She has a TV show where she cooks in this beautiful Italian style kitchen. Um, and her life is just all around going great. The only thing is, 20 years prior, her husband, who was another famous chef, mysteriously disappeared, and she's never really spoken about it publicly. But now, all of a sudden, she wants to publish her memoirs, so she's looking for an author to help her. She finds Thea and invites her to her farm to help her write this manuscript. Um, and I believe this one is going to be cannibals. I don't know for sure. It doesn't say for sure, but reading the synopsis, it's giving me cannibal vibes, and I'm here for it. I want to check it out because I've not read enough cannibal books, which sounds weird to say, but yeah, I think it's interesting. So excited to hop into that one. Then there is one book coming out on August 11th that I am excited about, but I won't be reading it right away because I am behind in the series. But that is Malice, which is book 3 in the Mate Games Apocalypse series by Kayla Rain and Meg Ann. These are just such a fun, silly, good time. The audiobooks are just top tier. They always have the best cast. The banter in them is really great. They're funny. They're spicy, but And this is a like paranormal romance series. There's lots of spin-off series so far from this, as we have there was the Make Games Pestilence, the Make Games Death series, which is the one that I still need to finish right now before I can hop into the Apocalypse series. Um, there was also the original like Make Games series. So like there's a lot of these books, but they are all so good. Again, they are like a paranormal well, maybe not paranormal, supernatural, I guess. Um series. It kind of reminds me too of like American Horror Story in some ways, because there's definitely some creepy elements to it, or high stakes bad things happening. And honestly, I'm not really going to read the synopsis on this one because I haven't read the first two books in this chunk of the series yet, so I don't want to spoil anything for myself, but just know that this one is on my radar, and I do hope to get to these three books very soon. Then on August 12th, there is a new book coming out that I have actually already read, but I wanted to make sure that I mentioned it here because I absolutely loved it when I read the arc, and that is Heartstrings by Ivy Fairbank. This is book 2 in the Love in Galway series. Morbidly Yours is book 1, and I read that probably, I can't remember when I read it. It was right when it got traditionally published. It was previously indie published. And that one was just so cute and so much fun. I love that the characters in these books are always like kind of flawed in some way. They're not put up on this high pedestal because they're perfect. They all have different quirks. Um, but this one is a second chance romance. These two characters dated for a while, broke up because of an opportunity that the male main character got to move to London for a record deal. Our female main character is a cancer survivor. We met both of these characters in Morbidly Yours. She is related to the female main character in book 1. And I just had a really great time with this one. I love his music and getting to see his career blossom, but also seeing them learn to love and trust and accept each other again because of things that happened in book 1, and also still getting to see a lot of the characters from book 1 because they end up getting back together at her cousin Lo's wedding. So, yeah, really, I recommend honestly both of these books. If you haven't read Morbidly Yours, I would definitely check that one out first. But Heartstrings, I think, was equally as great, and I really enjoyed it. Another book coming out on August 12th that I'm really excited to check out is Too Old for This by Samantha Downing. We are following Lottie in this book, who is a retired serial killer. She's just trying to live a quiet life now. She goes to her local church to play bingo every week, and like she's just living her best life and no longer murdering people. However, this investigative journalist shows up at her door one day and is asking questions about her involvement in a number of these unsolved cases. And, well, Lottie can't have that, right? So now she's going to have to try and get away with murder again. This just sounds really fun and goofy. I love killers of a certain age, and this sounds kind of similar to that, where we have, retired killers out here trying to make it work still as if they're still young, and it doesn't always go all that well for them. But this sounds like a lot of fun, so I can't wait to check it out. And speaking of a lot of fun, another book on August 12th that looks absolutely adorable is Love at First Sighting by Mallory Marlowe. This is a cute little rom-com that is supposed to have like X-Files vibes to it. We follow social media influencer Elle, who has like this perfect aesthetic life. but she's having a hard time finding love, and she ends up capturing footage of a unidentified flying object, and this charming man in black comes around asking questions. Um, this I'm just so excited. I loved watching the X-Files when I was younger, and just getting those vibes in this book, I think, is gonna be really kind of silly and goofy. I read Love and Other Conspiracy Theories by this author previously and really enjoyed that one as well, so I'm excited to get to another book by her. Another book coming out on August 12th that I'm excited to check out is called 13 Months Haunted by Jimmy Giuliano. Um, this one we are following Piper, who is a public library clerk, and she also helps out at this local middle school. While she's there one day, this new girl comes into eighth grade named Avery, and she's really kind of strange. She won't like touch any sort of technology. And her mom comes to school and sits with her all day during her classes and stuff, and it's kind of strange. Um, Piper, the librarian, hears these rumors from people in the hallway that Avery's mother is a witch, and now she's trying to befriend Avery because her sister and father were killed by something kind of supernatural, and now she's come to find out that maybe befriending this girl wasn't the best idea because there is something dark inside of her and it's spreading. This just sounds so interesting. Uh, Also, the cover is super cool. Um, I've not read from this author before, but I heard great things about his other book, Dead 11. So I still want to check that one out as well, but this one just sounds super fun, so I'm excited for it. The last book coming out on August 12th that I'm looking forward to is Lucky Day by Chuck Tingle. I've read a few other books by this author. He generally writes like queer sci-fi horror type books, and this one is no different. In here, we are following Vera, who survived this global catastrophe, um, but she's having a really hard time. She used to be really passionate about her career, but now she can't find meaning in anything at all. All of a sudden, a government agent shows up at her door, and Vera is the only one that can help him uncover the connection between these like spats of absurdity she's having and something about an improbably lucky casino. I don't know. It says what's happening in Vegas isn't staying there. I love going to Vegas. I love visiting Vegas. So I think this one is going to be a lot of fun. It is on the shorter side, it's like just over 200 pages. And Chuck Tingle always writes the most absurd horror novels. So I can't wait to see what this one is about. Then on August 19th, we have The Unseen by Anaya Alborn coming out. This is another horror thriller. In here, we are following Isla, and she is a mother who is struggling from a devastating loss of a child and is pretty much just beside herself until this random child appears on the outskirts of their property. And although it's weird and unexplainable, they bring this child into their home, and all of a sudden, Isla's husband and their kids start noticing that something's kind of off. There's like weird anomalies that are challenging the fabric of reality, and it's causing a lot of tension in the household. I just love a creepy kid in books. And especially when there's like this bending of reality. I think this one just sounds like it's going to be very twisty, and I can't wait to check it out. And then there are two more books I want to talk about, both of which are coming out on August 26th. The first one is Forget Me Not by Stacey Willingham. I have read, I think, every single one of Stacey Willingham's books previously, and I really liked all of them. This one is another mystery thriller. In this one, we are following Claire, whose sister had disappeared a few years prior. The case was kind of like a quick close. They found her car with blood in it. There was a man arrested. Um, and Claire is just kind of trying to move on with her life. She moved away from her small town she grew up in and is going to school to be an investigative journalist. But she gets an unexpected call from her father and is forced to go back home. While she's there for the summer, she gets this part time job at a farm that her sister used to work at as well. And while she's there, she discovers this journal that is written by like the farm's original owner. And what kind of starts off as like this young rebellion love story turns into something way more sinister. And Sarah keeps finding herself like more and more secluded the longer she stays at this farm and starts thinking that her own sister's disappearance is somehow tied to this. So this one sounds very like dark, dangerous, and could be a whole lot of fun, especially with like an isolated like farm type setting. I think it'll be really good. And then the last book I want to talk about that is also coming out on August 26th is How Bad Things Can Get by Darcy Coates. I absolutely love Darcy Coates. Everything I've read by her is absolutely amazing, and I'm sure that this one will be no different. In this book, we are following these group of people that get invited by this online influencer to Prosperity Island, where there's these like 5 days of elaborate games going on, as well as drinking and hanging out in the sun. Um, and while it was supposed to be a welcome respite for Ruth, because she is the only survivor of this infamous cult and she's kind of trying to escape that past, it turns out that the history of the island may have a connection to the cult. And guests all of a sudden start going missing and the game turns deadly. You guys know I love games and books, especially when they are high stakes. Um, I also feel like it's still summer, right? So a perfect time to read a horror thriller mystery that is set on this tropical island. Also, the cover for this one is absolutely gorgeous. I'm obsessed, so I can't wait to pick this one up for myself. But yeah, those are the books coming out in August that I am most excited for. Let me know down in the comments below if there's anything I missed that you think I should pick up and read, or just want to share some books that are coming out in August that you are excited for. If you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe, give the video a thumbs up on the way out, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Bye.